This week's question is how to teach sound discrimination and sound production with visual aids without teaching international phonetic alphabet to beginner students.
Hello, my name is Dr. Diego Boada. I'm based in Bogota, Colombia. I'm one of the instructors in the TESOL Certificate program. I'm very excited to be with you today. I've invited Jenny Valdez. She's one of our students in the program, and she's going to help us answer today's question. She is based in Caracas, Venezuela. Hi, Jenny. How's it going? How's the weather in Venezuela?
Hi, Dr. Boada. Well, today's nice and sunny. Thank you.
That's amazing. It is sunny in Colombia as well.
I'm good.
So that's not normal because we get a lot of rain, don't we?
Yeah, it's been rainy for the past few days, but today the weather changed, fortunately.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, hopefully it will stay that way. So I reached out to Jenny yesterday and I asked her to join us today. Thank you so much for your flexibility and willingness to help. Actually, you were the one who submitted the question of the week and then you got all of the votes. And so this question got selected. Can you please tell us a little bit about what we're doing today and how your experience has been in the program?
Yes, like you said, I'm a student in the TESOL Developing an Online Teaching Program. I actually got a scholarship through the U.S. Department of State. I have really enjoyed being able to connect with educators from all around the globe. We have people from 12 different countries in our class, something that I love. So far, the program has given me tools and resources to become a course designer, developer, and facilitator in online, blended, and mobile learning environments. We've done things like hosting a social hour forum. This is not something content related, but it's more a space to get to know each other. This week, we came up with a new idea, which is that Dr. Boada set up a poll everywhere for us to submit a question of the week, and the question with the most likes will get answered in a short video capsule like this one. The idea is to invite other experts in the field to help us answer the question. We thought it was a good idea to share what we're doing with the world and what we're doing in this program. This is meant to be an informal conversation among colleagues.
That's
So
right,
it's
Jamie. Thank you. I'm very excited to be part of this project and to get to work with all of you. Like you said, all of our students are wonderful. We're all across the globe and in different time zones. So it is great that we can get to work together through technology. And my hope with this little project we're doing is that we can continue to build a strong community of practice, because sometimes teaching can be very isolating. So you are in your own classroom doing your thing and you don't know what's happening next door. And there might not be a lot of opportunities to really share with others. So that's kind of like my intention here. So Jenny, can you please tell us a little bit about your professional background?
sure. I hold a Bachelor of Science in Biology, a Bachelor's in Education, a specialization in Educational Technology, and a specialization in teaching English as a foreign language.
Wow,
Current-
that's a lot.
it's a combination of all the things I love to do.
Well, congrats.
Science, languages, and teaching. Currently, I teach undergraduate and graduate students at two universities in Venezuela, Universidad Central de Venezuela and Universidad Simón Bolívar. Dr. Boada, what can you tell us about yourself?
Well, my undergrad was in English and foreign languages. That was here in Colombia. And then I got a Fulbright scholarship to pursue a master's degree at the University of Georgia. And I really liked UGA. So I ended up staying for my PhD in learning, design, and technology. And then I did a postdoc in pedagogy for culturally and linguistically diverse students. And I guess that's it. Then I said, okay, it's time to stop studying and get to work. So I guess that's enough about us. And I guess we are ready to meet our guest today. Are you ready, Jenny?
Yes, can wait.
Okay, so soon to be Dr. Lee Mackenzie is here with us today. Hi, Lee, where are you? Hi, we see you there. So he is a
In
Celta.
the mountains, I think they call it the Cordillera Central, like the central mountains, the Andes, which actually starts in Venezuela, I believe, and comes right through. So I'm near San Gil.
Yeah, you have a beautiful background, a lot of greenery where you
Yes.
are, a nice weather. So Lee is a CELTA and Trinity TESOL trainer. He's worked in over 20 countries and 4 continents, and he's worked for institutions such as the British Council, International House, and currently he is a researcher and lecturer at the Universidad del Norte in Colombia. And so we're really happy to have you today, Lee, and thank you for your time and everything you're doing, to support this project. And so, yeah, are you guys ready to get down to business and answer this week's question?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the question is, how can we teach sound discrimination and sound production with visual aids without teaching the International Phonetic Alphabet to beginner students? And so the floor is yours.
Okay, I'll let Jenny start, ladies first. And this is her question, so maybe she can give a bit of background to the question.
Well, when I teach sound discrimination to my students, I start with isolated sounds. I use the color vowel chart just to see, this color code, and I do many gestures indicating when the sound comes from. And sometimes I suggest them to use these online dictionaries that provide information, the International Phonetic Alphabet, but I know these symbols can be weird for them. So my question is, how can we do this? What I always said is use the semicolon as a guide to know when the syllables is longer. And yes, I also use different apps that provide the right pronunciation and gives you the opportunity to pronounce it back. And the app tells the accuracy with which you pronounced the word. So they receive instant feedback about the pronunciation. But I would like to have more, more tools to do this.
Okay, so Diego, I've shared a website with you, Euclish. We can start with that, and then I'll show some other techniques.
Sure.
So it really depends on what you're teaching. If you're just teaching sound discrimination between 2 individual sounds, maybe this would not be the most useful. But one thing that students struggle with is weak forms and identifying weak forms in a sentence. So we can start with the structure past continuous. And if I say I was going, if you type that in. So if I say this naturally, I was going, you barely hear the was. If I say it unnaturally, like most students who are learning English might say it, it would be I was going, right? So they may not be able to identify the tense correctly if they don't know the was. And this website will give you examples of people saying that sentence, and you can choose between different accents. You can choose between US or Australian accents, and you can change the speed. So this is very good for recognition purposes so that students can recognize the weak form. And then in class, you can do an activity where you say was, and when you say was, the students raise their hand. So Diego, when you hear me say, was, you raise your hand. What do you do when you hear me say was?
I raise my hand.
Right. Was. That was very slow, Diego.
Jenny,
am I invited to raise my hand? Am I invited to raise my hand? Yes.
Of course, Jenny. Let's try another one. Let's try the difference between sheep and ship, right? So which one is a longer sound, sheep or ship?
Ship.
The first one.
Mm-hmm. The first one, right? Okay. And what happens to my mouth? In which one am I smiling, sheep or ship?
First one.
The first one, right? So when you hear me say ship, raise your hand, Jenny and Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Sheep, 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 ship, ship, ship.
Wait, that was too fast. And actually, here it's breaking. The audio is not like it's not clear, so like it is breaking up a little bit. Do it. Let's try again.
All right, let's try. I'll try again a bit slower. Sheep, 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 ship, ship, ship.
Oh, what was the instruction?
It's working. Again, same instruction. Raise your hand when you hear ship. Raise your hand when you hear ship.
The short one, okay.
Okay.
Sheep, 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 ship, ship, ship. All right, it's difficult, right? So that's what, and then you can get students to say it. So Diego, we're going to raise our hand when you say sheep.
Okay. So I do it. Ship, 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 sheep, ship, sheep.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So then going from recognition to production, there's the two stages. First, they have to recognize the difference, and then they can try to produce the difference. And another good website for that is called Vocaroo. I'm not sure you're familiar with this.
Yeah,
And
to
again,
record. Yeah.
if you give them a sentence, you can record a sentence in Vocaroo. So you can record the sentence, I would have been president if I hadn't lost, which has a lot of features of connected speech. And you record that sentence with students, and then they can listen and practice, and then they can upload their own attempt to say that sentence correctly. Right. So that's working with discrimination in terms of suprasegmental features, connected speech. Another technique which you can voiced and voiceless consonants is just showing them where the place of articulation is, or which parts of your vocal cords are doing the work. So if I put my fingers on my vocal cords and I say, do the vocal cords vibrate?
No.
And if if it's voiceless, it doesn't. Yeah.
And if I say, do the vocal cords vibrate?
Yes, they do.
Right. So, and then asking questions. So as you've noticed, I've been asking a lot of questions. So I asked you, so it's not just me explaining things, it's getting you to respond to things that I'm saying. So it's more student-centered than just saying, this is how you do it. So I'm saying, which sound is longer? In which one am I smiling? In which one do my vocal cords vibrate? So these are concept questions for checking understanding of
Yes. I think it's great for students because they are receiving the information for different channels. I mean, what the teacher is saying and what they feel or they do with their bodies. And for the teacher, as you said, the teacher gets instant feedback about what they are getting right or not.
Right. And just one more thing is you can use gestures. So you can show them, look, these are your teeth and this is your tongue. Right. So I had a student last week, a teacher student, sorry, who was saying, and students weren't getting it. And I said, just show them where your teeth are and where the tongue is. Right. So the tongue is pressing against the back of the teeth. So as Jenny said, showing the place of articulation is very useful for students. And there are a lot of diagrams and visuals available where you can show them, look, it's this part of the mouth.
Right. I love that. And, these are things that we can do face-to-face or online, really. These things transfer very well to an online setting. And like you were doing, like we were raising our hands, doing a little bit of TPR. That was a lot of fun. And I'm sure students would like that. And so when I thought about the question, like I have to say that I'm a huge fan of IPA because I'm a visual learner. So I want to see the sound and if it's the same or different, even if I'm not able to produce it correctly, I still want to see it. But I understand that sometimes if you're working with small children or people that maybe don't want that maybe it's not a good idea to teach them explicitly the IPA. But there are other ways, like you were saying, Jenny, and lead to teach this awareness. And I was thinking, for example, about using colors. So like if you are teaching them the schwa sound, so you can spell that like was, like the short one, with like a red color, or do like a red circle and then circle other places in the paragraph where it is the same sound. You could use a mirror, to show them or to help them with pronunciation. You could do different things to create that awareness without necessarily teaching them the IPA. In my experience as an English language learner, like I think pronunciation is very important, even more than maybe grammar or other things, because that's how you communicate really. But pronunciation is more than sounds, right? That individual sound. So like things like stress, like intonation, like all of those things are also very important. And I feel like sometimes we just focus on isolation sometimes, and we forget a little bit about the other features that help intelligibility and being understood.
Absolutely. And I think that's important point to make. It's not just about the individual sounds. It's often best to focus on the suprasegmental level, because that's how we speak. And going to the and sheep, it's very unlikely that this will cause confusion, because when you're talking, you say there's a sheep on the horizon. It's you know, in a context probably clear that the person is referring to the thing that is on the water, with which you know, not the thing which goes by. So I don't think it's causes confusion as much as maybe we think it does. I think there are a lot of people who look down on people with accents, and I know there are a lot of accent reduction courses in the United States, which I don't really understand, because I think an accent is something to be proud of. So if it's just about getting rid of the accent, I think it's not an issue. I think it's only an issue when it interferes with comprehension.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think some of these courses, they don't necessarily want you to sound like a native speaker, but more like making sure that people understand you. Like sometimes I have a hard time speaking on the phone, for example, like because you don't have that visual, and that's kind of like makes it a little bit more challenging. So do you have any other ideas, Jenny or Lee?
What I always say to my students is get exposed to the language. I think this is one of the more common sense suggestions I can give, because this can drain your ear, the more you listen, the more you understand. And I always suggest them to use the topic they like. I don't know, I always say to girls, do you like makeup? Okay, so go to YouTube and watch makeup tutorials. I don't know. If you're a handyman, watch how to repair faucet, but expose yourself to the language. This is very important.
Absolutely. Do you have any other thoughts, Lee?
Well, I mean, going back to the TPR, you can have, for example, if you want to teach the phonemic alphabet, then you would start with two sounds. So again, it could be the O and the and you teach them the difference between the two sounds, and then you can even play bingo with them. Or they hold up the sound that you're saying. So when you say O, they have to raise the O. When you say they have to raise the A. And they can even make the sounds at home with different colors, like you said. So again, it becomes very student-centered.
Yeah, I love that, and those are wonderful ideas. Thank you so much. We want to keep this video short, so hopefully we'll have more questions in the future, and we'll invite you again to help us answer these questions. I think this was very interesting, and hopefully people that are watching got some ideas that they can implement right away. And so I have a bonus question, but it's just for fun, and something that you may not know about me is that I love to share memes. And so I found this meme that describes how I feel about 2021. Can you see it?
Yes.
And so 2020 was not easy for anyone, and it was challenging in many ways, but it also brought us good things. And so I want to end on a positive note, and so I want to ask you, what are you looking forward to next year?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the people's smiles again, with everybody wearing masks. This is something that I really miss, being able to hug my family and friends without any concerns.
Right. I've seen masks that are transparent. They have something like a transparent thing so you could see their mouth and the smiles. I don't know if they're effective, but that's something.
Yes.
What about you, Lee?
For me, it's very simple. I'm finishing my doctorate, so I'm looking forward to finishing my doctorate next year.
Oh, congrats. That's a big goal. Right. Well, I think I'm looking forward to traveling and spending more time outdoors. Sometimes, we used to take that for granted, but now it's like, okay, it is important to be outside, of course, if it's safe. And hopefully, I'm looking forward to making more of these videos. So thank you so much, Jenny and Lee, for all of your time. Thank you to everyone who's watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.